What the report outlined was that the fire incident could have been prevented. The fire incident could have been prevented had reasonable care been taken to ensure that those drivers of vulnerability do not materialize. One such measure that was also attributed to, I will call it human error or a decision in that regard. One such measure was the decision not to deploy parliamentary protection services officers at night and on public holidays and weekends during 2021-2022 compulsory leave period, which left Parliament vulnerable. On the aspect of systems and maintenance failures, again, extensive investigation was done by experts to look into those failures that were identified even during the preliminary assessment of the fire incident. So what the investigation identified was a range of systems and maintenance failures that significantly contributed to both the security breach and the failure to prevent and contain the fire. These failures encompassed issues such as the height of the perimeter fence, as I've outlined earlier, the absence of perimeter monitoring in terms of physical presence of security. It did not exist at that time, perimeter monitoring. A malfunctioning emergency exit door was also identified on the physical aspects, as well as deficiencies in the fire panels and an unreliable fire management system called REMRAD system. The absence of on-site parliamentary protection services officers further resulted in lack of CCTV monitoring and overall view of the precinct. So in the absence of people, nobody could monitor the CCTV cameras, whether there is attempts to breach and so on. On the critical concerns requiring immediate action, the report underscored pressing concerns that demand prompt attention and rectification. Amongst others, these include non-compliance with established building regulations. I'm sure we would all appreciate that these are historical buildings predating many years, centuries. And when you contrast that with the current regime of legislation that requires OHASA and other issues, our Parliament has consistently not passed the test of full compliance around those matters. So those issues were also picked up from systems and so on. The inadequacies of maintenance practices and shortcomings in the safety, health, and environmental audit. Amongst other things that has also been raised is the absence of a designated head of security for Parliament, the lack of structured security committees that are required for a national key point institution that regularly monitors, oversees adherence to all security policies of Parliament. That did not also exist and or found to be working effectively. The delays in general on the security enhancement project also contributed as critical issues that as we speak, we are currently addressing, and members of the media and members of Parliament and staff of Parliament would see the work that is being done now to begin to address the detail of the security enhancement of Parliament. So other issues, we are not waiting. We are actually giving high priority on the issue of security, starting with the appointment of the head of security as stabilization, but also deal with those issues that from a physical and operational capability, we need to heighten the vigilance around Parliament on those matters. The fourth area is around heightened vulnerability of the perimeter fence, which I have indicated earlier on, and its detail Sadly, this matter was flagged, not now, in 2004, and it remained unattended. So this matter was flagged as far back as 2004 by the South African Police Services, and lapses in perimeter monitoring, as I've identified, including incidents where SAPS officers were asked to monitor motion detection cameras and were asleep on those days. The intruder could easily move in and breach the fence of Parliament. So the investigation raised questions regarding SAPS patrol during that period and identified additional complications, such as a number of CCTVs that were malfunctioning, the video wall, as well as problematic emergency exit doors that were not working. On the fire safety deficiencies, the investigations revealed pervasive non-compliance with the regulations and requirements across multiple facets, including smoke detectors that were not functioning, the fire alarm panels, emergency notification systems, sprinkler systems, and evacuation route planning that were non-existent. So the structural as well as systematic policy management of what needs to be done to manage a building of this importance could not be done by Parliament.